just to leave it the way it is. I need to shower after. But yeah, so how's everything going, guys?
Fine. I don't know this. My mouth is watering a lot. I don't know for some reason.
Uh-huh.
It is a bit making me go crazy.
Really?
You speak, you're kind of mad. I mean, I don't know. For a few days I have this problem. I need to go to doctor maybe.
Yeah, that might be a good thing to
Like,
ask.
there is nothing in my mouth. I brush my mouth, it's clean. There's no food, etc. But for some reason, like not every day, in the mornings to up until to evening,
Mm-hmm.
for a few days,
ダ
I
メ。
have this.
もうこれで。
It it goes away at night, in the evenings, or in the mornings. This time it starts crazy.
Yeah, guys, I'm not sure, sir, why that is. But yeah, you should maybe ask a doctor. I have no idea. Warming or your mouth watering might be something with the saliva duct or something. I have no idea. I'm just guessing. But cool. So, how are the rest of you guys? Tajuddin, how are you doing?
It's going well. Today, it's Monday, and I'm at work. I worked. I did something. I prepared a lecture for tomorrow. For tomorrow class, and it's nearly ending of the work hours. After 1 hour, I finished work and I go home.
Are you a teacher, Tajuddin? Or are you a professor?
Yes, I'm a teacher in a university. I'm associate professor of public health.
Nice, very cool. I'm thinking of studying public health.
Public health, very good.
Yeah.
I liked this idea.
Yeah. I'm not sure what I want to do yet, but because I'm traveling right now, I'm looking into different universities in different places. And yesterday, one of my friends told me, why don't you look into public administration or, public health, public policy. So yeah, that'll be interesting. I can ask you for...
We can communicate maybe after the class.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to. Just, ideas. Maybe even in Turkey. Maybe I can come to a university in Turkey. Yeah, absolutely. Great. And Ken, how are you doing? Ken and Soso, you guys doing well?
Yes, I'm fine. Thank you.
Me too, I'm good.
Awesome. Yeah, so it's been a few days, I think, since we had a lot of people in this 6 a.m. class. It's 6 a.m. here, so I'm not calling it 6 a.m. But welcome, guys. I know it might be not the best time for some of you. Today, guys, we have everyone here, so we have a lot of people here. Oh, 5 p.m. in Jeddah. Okay, sweet. So complete 11-hour difference then. Today, guys, we are going to be looking into the imperative form. Now, I've spoken to all of you guys before. I know all of you, and this is a high intermediate class. I think you guys are all beyond that level. So high intermediate focuses, because of the new structuring on Colingo, high intermediate focuses more on the article and less on the grammar. And I think here in this instance we can spend a lot more time on the article because I think imperative, basically there's no grammatical construction. It's just the base form of the verb, right, that we always see. So we're also going to be talking about travel, right? This time I decided to choose an article that's not related to terrestrial travel, right? What does this word terrestrial mean, guys? I'm going to use some... You guys are very advanced. What does terrestrial mean?
Related to Earth?
Yeah, absolutely, Tajuddin. Fantastic, right? I'm not going to be talking about terrestrial travel in this article. I'm going to be talking about extraterrestrial travel, right? And what does extraterrestrial mean? If terrestrial means Earth, then what is extraterrestrial?
ET, alien.
Yeah, exactly. The ET, right? Aliens, right? Outside of the world, or outside of this world, right? Outside of the Earth,
Maybe
outside of Earth.
universe. It's related to universe.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to be looking specifically at Mars, actually. So Mars is the next planet from the Sun, from us, the closest planet to us. And out of all countries, India has decided to send a um, our satellite to Mars, right? Because they want to explore the surface of that planet, and they want to maybe send somebody there first. I personally think India is too ambitious because they tried sending something to the moon and it crashed, right? And the moon is much easier than Mars, right? But they're ambitious, so we're going to look to see what they want to achieve with this program. Um, and yeah, so we'll be looking at that. Any questions, guys, about anything I said?
Are these words adjectives?
These are both adjectives, yeah, absolutely. So something that is terrestrial, it's describing something that is related to Earth, right? Something that is extraterrestrial, something that is outside of Earth. So when we say extraterrestrial species, for example, Ken said ET, right? We are always, when we worry about aliens and science fiction worries about aliens, those are all examples of extraterrestrial species, right? We can also say another word that is used often is interstellar. And interstellar means between the stars, you know, within the stars. So sometimes between when they're talking about interstellar travel, they're saying, for example, traveling from here to Mars, right? I think that will take 4 years, you know, to do that, 4 human years to travel from Earth to Mars one way. So if we ever send a scientist or an astronaut to Mars, they're going to age 4 years. They're not going to age 4 years because they're in space, but they'll 4 years will pass on Earth before they reach their destination. Right, so it's a very long time. I mean, 8 years round trip, right? Probably a big bill too. So, yeah, great guys. Any other questions on this stuff before I move on? We're okay? Okay. I'm assuming we're okay. I've learned if I ask any other questions and nobody says anything for like 5 seconds, that means there's no
Yes.
questions. Yeah, all right, good. Usually I wait for confirmation, but okay. So, all right, guys. So what is the imperative tense, right? The imperative tense, guys, is very simply the way that we give orders in English, right? And we do not change the base form of the word. So think about any verb: wash, run, do, you know, describe, whatever the case might be. Any verb in the world, right? You use just the base form. So we're not looking at politeness here, right? When we look at politeness, we look at all of those different constructions. Would you mind closing the door for me? No, close the door, right? We don't care about being polite. Just close the door, right? Open the book, close the door, do your homework, right? Parents say this stuff a lot. Whenever I run out of ideas for imperatives, I think about what my parents would tell me, right? Comb your hair. If my mom saw me right now, she would slap me. Comb your hair, you know? No excuses, right? So, but my hair doesn't comb. That's why I'm looking like this, guys. So, open the window, right? Close the door. Do your homework. These are all examples of imperatives, right? And so, the question I have for you guys to get us interested in travel a little bit, terrestrial travel, okay? We're looking at, when I ask you guys these questions, don't think about extraterrestrial just yet, right? How do you, let's say you're going on a trip, right? What do you tell somebody who's maybe not traveling, somebody in your city, somebody in your family? How do you tell them to take care of certain things while you are gone, right? Let's use that example. So, for example, I used to have a fish. The fish died, right? When I traveled, I told my friend, feed my fish, you know, twice a day, 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. or like 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. something like that, right? I told him feed him this much, right? Don't feed him more than, I don't know, 6 little chips, right? So that's one of the things I said to my friend, right? What about you, Sarveth? When you travel, how do you tell people to take care of business when you're not there?
Don't carry Don't carry your whole money in one pocket.
Uh-huh,
Put it in
fantastic.
different places.
Yeah, what happens if you carry it all in one pocket?
So if somebody pickpockets you, then you lose your whole money. But if you divide your money into a few parts, and you lose maybe only one part of them, and the other parts are still with you.
Yeah, yeah. You know, I wasn't pickpocketed in Turkey, Servet, but my bank card was lost, got stolen at a Finansbank. Okay, so I was I went to the lady and I said, "Listen, my card got stolen." She doesn't understand English, so I opened my like Turkish dictionary and I was barely describing to her how my card was stolen or how my card was lost. I don't know if it was stolen, and it was interesting. I just canceled it the next day. I mean, or that day, that same day. So I guess with credit cards we have that security, but with money, of course, if it's gone, then it's gone, right? Yeah, awesome. That was a great example. Ken, what do you do if you are traveling? How do you tell people to do stuff? Maybe in your place so that they can take care of stuff for you, or like we heard from Servet, you know, what do you advise travelers to do when they travel?
Don't forget the ticket.
Don't forget your ticket. Uh-huh, fantastic. What about one other one? Let's think of two examples.
Other one. Water my plants.
Yeah, water my plants, right? And then maybe you'd have to give specific directions, like how much water, right? How many times a day exactly. For me, it was my fish. You know, for you, it's the water. For you, it's the plant. Yeah, those are great examples. Awesome. Thank you, Ken. So, what about you? Two examples of things that you would either tell travelers or you would ask somebody to do on your behalf.
Okay. Please look after my cat while I'm gone. Another thing, check the weather forecast before you go out.
Fantastic, fantastic. Yeah, check the weather forecast before you leave, before you go out, and please take care of my cat when I am gone. Right? Fantastic. And Tajuddin, last but not least, two other examples from you, please.
After when I went, check the house daily and irrigate the flowers.
What was it? What was the verb you used? I'm sorry, Tajuddin. Before the flowers. What was
irrigate or water?
Water the flowers.
Water
Yeah.
Flowers.
Exactly. Water the flowers is great, and also check the house, right? What should they check?
Irrigate.
It's a great verb. It's a great verb. Yeah, it's a great verb, but it's too formal for something like flowers.
Yes, irrigate. We use irrigate in farming area. Is that?
Yes, exactly. So we say irrigate the crops. Irrigate the crops. Yes. Irrigate my crops.
Water the flowers. We have to
water
use
the flowers.
Water the flowers.
Yeah, exactly. It's very unusual. People will understand what you're saying by irrigate the flowers, but it sounds very unusual because it sounds like you have maybe a ton of flowers. If you ask people to irrigate them,
like a farm, maybe like I have a flower land.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, if you have a large garden, of course. I mean, a huge garden of that size, yeah, you could use it. But I think we're talking about maybe a smaller size. And what should they check for when they check your house? What specific things can you ask them to do?
Check the windows.
Yeah.
Closed.
Check if the windows are closed. Right? Check the windows are not broken, right? Yes. People steal stuff. Like where I'm from, people steal stuff all the time. They take a rock, they break the window, they go inside, and they steal everything. So absolutely. So you guys get this idea of imperatives very well. I didn't see any mistakes, right? Yeah. Go ahead, Tajuddin.
Can I add please at the end of the sentence?
You can,
What are
absolutely.
the,
So yeah, what would that look like, Tajudeen, if you said that? What would that look like?
what are the flowers, please?
Fantastic, fantastic. You can put please at the end of the sentence, or you can put it at the beginning. So we heard from Soso, please take care of my cat when I'm not here or when I'm gone, right? Exactly the same way. When we use the imperatives, guys, remember though, we are not trying to be polite, right? Please works great. Please, I mean, it works really well. But when we talk about imperatives, we are mainly we're talking to family members, we're talking to friends. We don't have to be that polite to them, right? We can just say, take care of my plants when I'm gone. Okay, okay, sure thing, no problem. You know, between friends, we don't usually care. We're not that polite. But definitely when you're between, you know, older people, people you respect, or whatever the case might be, or strangers, then you would want to use please or those polite expressions. Fantastic. Any questions, guys, on imperatives? No questions?
No questions.
No questions. Okay, sweet. I should have counted 1,000, 2,000, 5 seconds, but I didn't. Okay, sweet. So this really, guys, is I'm just going to go over the 4 basic ways that we use imperatives, and then we'll be done, right? Because you guys did a fantastic job on it. The first way is if we're giving somebody a direct order, right? Think about the military. Think about, like, I don't know, mother and child, right? When we say close the door, do the dishes, do your homework, right? Vacuum the floor, right? Whatever. I mean, everything moms tell their kids to do, right? Brush your teeth, comb your hair, right? Change your clothes, right? Those are all things. Moms don't say, please, can you please change your clothes? No, it's a direct order, right? No, they don't have to say please to anybody. And we also use imperatives for simple, direct commands that we use on signs that we see all over the world on, you know, public, in any kind of public place, right? Drive down the highway, you see, you know, take exit 13 for San Francisco, whatever, right? You see all of those things. You see stop signs everywhere, right? I mean, everywhere in the world. And all of these types of signs, when you go to a door and you see push or pull, right, those are saying the same thing, right? When you are opening up a package, they say remove before you open, right? Or remove this way, remove the plastic cover, right? Unzip the bag, whatever, right? Plug in, we use a lot for electronics, right? So plug into outlet, or whenever you're making something, you're looking at assembly instructions, right? I love to think about Legos, because Legos didn't have any words, but kids knew, or kids still know, how you assemble it, right? You see the pictures and you see the design, right? Legos are amazing. They're the only things I played with when I was a kid, right? Great stuff. So, and then when we have a long list of commands, right? So let's say you're telling somebody how to make something, a food item, right? Recipes are a great place when we use it, where we use imperatives. So you can say first you want to measure the sugar, then pour the sugar into a bowl, right? Add 3 quarts of milk, right? You can add as many as you want, as many imperatives as you want, but sometimes we use sequence words, right? We use sequence words a lot in English. We say first, open the carton. Second, or then, you know, pour the milk into the quart. Next, you know, mix the milk and sugar together, right? Whatever the case might be. So we use these sequence words like first, you know, then, next, lastly, right? The last thing you want to say. Lastly, taste for sweetness, whatever, you know, you're making a dessert or something, right? So lastly, taste for sweetness, right? We used a lot of these sequence words. Another way that we use imperatives is when we are asking people, when somebody's at our home and we are welcoming them, we are inviting people somewhere, right? And this is where we would probably use please, but you don't have to. You know, somebody's at the door, you open the door and you say, come on in, you know, help yourself, right? If there's food on the table, help yourself, right? Make yourself at home, right? You can say please if you want, but it really doesn't matter. I mean, we had friends here yesterday, and they're friends, so I just said, regular. I didn't say please. And also when you are giving somebody friendly advice, right? This is the fourth and last category. Giving somebody friendly advice, you can very easily say, like, if somebody's sick, right? What we were saying when we were talking about, how we should protect ourselves when we travel. Sirvat said, don't put all your money in one pocket, right? So giving friendly advice, also we use imperatives. Last but not least, when we make the negative form, right, we say do not do something or don't do something, right? In public places, we see just the word no and then the verb in the continuous tense, right? No smoking, no parking, no loitering, right? You guys will see this a lot in some areas. What does loitering mean? No loitering. Have you guys seen that before? Loiter, guys, is when you are hanging around a location with no purpose, right? Like, sometimes young people, or it doesn't matter age really, but you are just hanging out in front of a building, right? You're not doing anything. You're just waiting there, standing there, standing in front of a building. Maybe you're waiting for a friend, but you're waiting for like a long time, right? If you see a sign that says
wander.
Kind of like wanderers actually move around, right? If you wander, you're moving around more. You're going from one location to another. But loitering means to just kind of, without any purpose, to stay in one location, right? So you're just in front of a building, right? It's a security thing, right? It's honestly a security thing. So like, when I was in Washington, D.C., near the White House, there are maybe like 1,000 different police, military and everything, and there are signs everywhere. No loitering, right? Like, you cannot loiter in front of those gates because they'll
wandering is circular.
Wandering,
yes. Loitering is not is linear, like
it's inert. Yeah, exactly. You're in one place.
Yes.
Yeah, you're not moving around, right? Wandering, it doesn't.
Linear.
Yes. Wandering, it doesn't have to be circular. It could just be that you are moving around from two different places, right? I'm wandering between my home and my work, right? So I'm taking different roads. I'm just hanging out, right? But yeah, again, hanging around, exactly. So I said hanging out, right? So loitering to me is the same thing, right? Don't hang around here without any purpose. If you do, then the cops will show up. Somebody will call the police and they'll ask you, "What's your purpose? What are you doing here?" Right? So we see no parking, no loitering. What about when we see no trespassing? What does that mean? I saw this at the White House too. No trespassing.
I don't know.
Trespassing, guys, is to go into somebody's property without their permission. Right? So if I come to your house, Tajuddin, right? It's late at night. It doesn't matter, whatever time of day, and I'm just walking on your lawn, right? I'm getting very close to your house. I'm trespassing. I am on your property without your permission, right? So that's the word trespass. We see no trespassing, no loitering, private property, right? So like this house, if the owner wanted to put a sign that said no trespassing, and if somebody is just in his yard in the back, right, he could call the police and say that somebody's trespassing. And the fines are pretty serious. Fines are pretty serious for trespassing. In Texas, they'll kill you if you're trespassing. They can actually, if there's somebody in the house who has a gun, they'll shoot you if they want. Probably not immediately, but they'll ask you who you are, and if you seem dangerous, then they'll just kill you. So don't trespass in Texas, guys. Not a good idea. And what about words like beware of dog?
What about
or phrases like that? Yeah, go ahead, Tajuddin.
Be careful.
Yeah,
and
be careful.
Opposite of the be careful. How can we say negative form? Be careful.
be careful, the opposite, don't be careful, or we don't see that on signs at all on Tajin. But if you want to say the opposite of be careful, you can just say don't be careful. Honestly, I don't know if there's any other way. Don't be careful, or enjoy or whatever. Like, maybe you're in a weird location. You can say, yeah, don't be careful, I think is the best way to think about it. How do you think?
Okay.
Yeah, don't be careful. Yeah. And what about, guys, if we see beware of dog, what does that mean?
Be careful.
Yeah, be careful. Go ahead, Ken. I'm sorry. I keep cutting people off. Go ahead, Ken.
Sorry. Yeah, sometimes it happens when how can I say, I bring newspapers to the home. What can I say? That job, the part-time job.
The newspaper delivery person.
Yeah, so dog or something approaching me to bark. Yeah, I was scared of that. Yeah,
It's a scary thing, right?
yeah.
In the U.S., the postman, right? Not the newspaper person specifically, but the postman has pepper spray. They carry pepper spray.
Yeah.
So if a dog gets too close, if a dog is about to like bite them, right, then they can spray the pepper spray in their face, right? And what's interesting is in the United States, dogs almost have human rights. Sometimes they have more than human rights. They actually are treated better than humans in this country. So if you pepper spray a dog without reason, you'll go to jail, my friend. Because you will be, yeah.
Yeah, I brought some tiny dried fish, and I gave him or her. After that, when I came that past, he or she it kind of cried, kind of showed the intimacy maybe. Give me
more
that.
dried fish.
Yeah.
That's a good strategy, actually. I don't know. Maybe we should start that in the U.S. Like all the postmen carry little pieces of dog food or something like that, right?
I think that works.
But some dogs here are crazy. I mean, they are really aggressive. If the owner says beware of dog, then it shows that they have maybe trained the dog to stop the trespassers, right? So sometimes the dogs are very, very aggressive. So yeah, but here you have to be very careful. If you kill a dog, that's like killing a human being. Or if you hurt a dog, it's very serious. And guys, one other question I had for you. This is not really an imperative, but we see this on signs near military bases, for example. Lethal force is authorized. And what does this mean, do you guys think? Lethal force is authorized.
Meaning they can use weapons if you trespass.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you are in an area like maybe a very secure military area, and you see a sign that says no trespassing and lethal force is authorized, you might...
Or you can get some lethal force. You can face lethal force.
Yeah, you can face a guy with a gun who wants to kill you, because you saw the sign. You saw the sign. There's no excuse, right? And a lot of military bases have these signs outside, right? So awesome, guys. That was great. Any questions, guys, about imperatives? Going once? Going twice? Okay, sold. Fantastic. No questions, guys. So let's take a look at this article then, guys, about what India is doing now with extraterrestrial travel, specifically to Mars, right? Very, very ambitious plan, I think, for a country like India. And as always, guys, as we are going through the article, please stop me whenever you have any questions about vocabulary, about any kind of word that you don't understand or idea that you don't understand. Please stop me, because my focus is going to be to help you guys understand as much of the article as we can. So there's the link, guys. I'm going to screen share, and we'll get started. Okay. So this is the Washington Post, very reliable. India launches its first mission to Mars in step toward space travel. Right. India on Tuesday launched its first spacecraft bound for Mars, a complex mission that it hopes will demonstrate and advance technologies for space travel. Hundreds of people watched the rocket carrying the Mars orbiter take off from the east coast island of Sriharikota and streak across the sky. Many more across the country watched live TV broadcasts. Officials at the Space Center described it as a textbook launch. If the mission is successful, India will become only the fourth space program to visit the red planet after the Soviet Union, the United States, and Europe. Any questions, guys, on these first three paragraphs?
Streak.
Yeah, fantastic question. Where is that word again? Streak is here, right? Yeah. So something that streaks across the sky, Servet, is something that streaks is, you know when you see a comet or a star, one of those shooting stars,
Yes.
right? Shooting stars, they streak across the sky. They travel very, very quickly through the sky. Yeah. So it's a verb that means traveling very quickly across something, or making that line that you can see, that visible line that goes across. So streak across. Yeah, great question. What about textbook launch, guys? What is this phrase in like when they have it in the quotation marks? Yeah.
Test flight? Pilot flight or something? Pilot launch?
Very, very, very close. A very good idea, actually. Very good thinking. It's not that, honestly. It is a little bit different. Tajuddin or Servet? Okay, that's fine, guys.
I don't know.
A textbook launch is something that goes just exactly according to plan. Exactly according to plan. Just like if you're reading a textbook, you follow the directions, right? You follow the, maybe it's a recipe, right? First do this, then do that. So the launch was perfect. It was a textbook launch. There were no issues.
Is it
was
an
like
idiom?
I'm sorry, Tajuddin, say that one more time.
Is it an idiom?
It is an idiom, yes. It's a way that we use in English to say that something went perfectly, right? For example, when a pilot lands a plane, that was a textbook landing, right? Just no problems whatsoever, just like what you read in the book. Nothing went wrong. Yeah, so textbook launch, nothing went wrong with this launch. It went perfectly. Capturing and igniting the young minds of India and across the globe will be the major return from this mission. Mission Director P. Kunhikrishnan said from the launch site. These last names, I mean, I'm from India. These last names, if you see a name like this, then that means they're from South India. Right? Just a random fun thing. These huge names, like 16 letters, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, if it's over 10 letters, they're from South India. So we always make fun of those people because of their huge names. It's jokes inside India. After 44 minutes, the orbiter separated from the rocket and entered into an elliptical path around Earth. Right? We're going to come back to this word, elliptical path. Over the next 20 to 25 days, it will perform a series of technical maneuvers and short burns to raise its orbit before it slingshots towards Mars. Right? So, any questions, guys, about these two paragraphs? There are some interesting verbs here.
Slingshot.
Yeah, slingshots. That's a great one, Servet, right? A slingshot, guys, is this thing. Okay, let me Google images. There's the best way to describe it is to show you what a slingshot is. And the slingshot is something that David used against Goliath. That's the best way I can describe it. It's one of these guys. Have you guys ever seen?
I see.
Yeah.
No.
So you put a rock in it, right? And you can. It's a device that you can use to shoot something at something, right? So if you want to kill an animal, in the olden days they put a rock, they slingshot the rock, right? So when they're using it in this sense, they're saying that the spacecraft will very quickly travel from one area to another. It will slingshot very quickly, you know, because just like the rock that you put in here, when you pull it back and you release it, right, it travels very quickly. So it's a creative verb that they're using. It will travel very quickly to its destination. Fantastic. That's a great word. That's a great question too. So before it slingshots towards Mars. What about elliptical, guys? What does elliptical mean?
Maybe via moon or something?
Close. Elliptical is actually a shape, right? So it's like an oval. It's not a circle, right? So elliptical. One second. Elliptical is when you have an oval. Not these. Crap. There's many types, guys. This, for example, is an elliptical shape, right? So it's an oval. So you see the sun and the moon, whatever, right? And so when this Earth, or when this satellite reaches Mars, it will be orbiting Mars like in this shape. It won't be a circle. It'll be an elliptical shape, right? An elliptical orbit. So it looks like an oval, right? This blue thing is an elliptical orbit. So that's what elliptical means. Great. And what about when these guys are saying capturing and igniting the young minds of India and across the globe? Right. What does that mean, guys?
Maybe encourages?
Yeah. Really, it's a very romantic kind of notion, right? This idea is to this mission of this mission. The mission of this mission is to capture and ignite the young minds, right? To encourage people, to encourage all of those millions of kids in India, right? That their country can do a lot of things. So
maybe self-confidence, to provide self-confidence.
Absolutely, right. India has a lot of things going on. Yeah, so that self-confidence. How can you use that self-confidence, Tajuddin? Actually, Tajuddin, I couldn't hear the last part. Could you repeat that last part?
To improve self-confidence of the people, of the population.
Yeah. Exactly right. The self-confidence. India has a lot of things going on. Not all of them are good, right? So maybe one of these launches can unite the country, make the people feel good about themselves, right? So he actually continues in the same idea. With teamwork and the kind of dedication we have today, any mission is not beyond our capability. This guy, a little bit of an English thing here. It should be no mission is beyond our capability. But he said any mission is not beyond our capability, okay? Said
nothing is impossible.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing is impossible, right? That's exactly what he's saying.
We can do anything.
Exactly. No mission is beyond our capability, or any mission is not beyond. Nothing is impossible, exactly. The 1,350 kilogram orbiter Mangalyaan, which means Mars craft in Hindi, must travel 780 million kilometers over 300 days to reach an orbit around the red planet next September, right? So it'll reach next September, and it's a pretty heavy thing, 3,000 pounds, 1,350 kilograms. The biggest challenge will be precisely navigating the spacecraft to Mars, said Radhakrishnan, chairman of the Indian Space and Research Organization. We will know if we pass our examinations on September 24th, 2014. So this is the key day, right? They will know at that point if they're successful or if they're not successful. He congratulated the scientists for putting the mission together in a very limited time. The project began after the space agency carried out a feasibility study in 2010 after successfully launching a lunar satellite in 2008. Prime Minister Manmohan Singh announced the planned voyage to Mars only last year during his annual address to the nation. Right. So any questions, guys, on these two areas?
Feasibility.
Feasibility, yes, feasibility. Fantastic. What do you think it means, Ken, based on the context?
The project began after the space agency carried out feasibility study in 2000, followed by.
No, actually. But think about a word that's inside feasibility. Have you guys heard the word feasible before? Something is feasible?
Manageable or
Yeah,
manageable, affordable, accessible, or we can
absolutely.
success.
Yes, 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 yes. Perfect, Ajay, perfect. So if something is feasible, it's possible. It's successful. We can do it, right? So India carried out a feasibility study. Man, can we even do this? Is this project feasible? How much money will this cost? Are we going to be able to launch it on time? Will it work? Will it not work? So they did this. They started the project after they carried out this feasibility study in 2010, right? So
Like concrete study or something?
yeah, a concrete
Ah,
study to see if it's even possible,
mm,
right? Because you can have a plan, but you have to know how to implement the plan, right? And so they spent 3 years designing it and planning it and building it, and then now in 2013 they decided to launch it. Actually, what about some of the any other words here, guys? When we see the word like navigating, or yeah, I think that was the only other really tough word. What does navigate mean, guys?
to guide.
Absolutely, absolutely. To guide someone to guide something to some destination, right? Yeah, great, guys. Let's move on, and we're going to spend maybe just look at the next two paragraphs. It's a really big thing for India, said 13-year-old Pratibha Maurya, who gathered with her father and about 50 others to watch the launch at the Nehru Planetarium in New Delhi. Right, so this is just a little girl, you know. Some have questioned the $72 million price tag for a country of 1.2 billion people still dealing with widespread hunger and poverty. But the government defended the Mars mission and its $1 billion space program in general by noting its importance in providing high-tech jobs for scientists and engineers and practical applications in solving problems on Earth. Right? So, what do you guys think about this paragraph? Right. So what is the idea of this paragraph, guys?
Uh, there are some criticism about this project. Some ones say that there are a lot of people who live under poverty,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe we should solve these problems before we go to space or Mars.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, absolutely, right. So a lot of
Some people suggested this idea in this program, but government defends itself. This project is important as much as the poverty problems.
exactly, exactly. And the Indian space program is a huge government organization, right? So it provides a lot of jobs to many people. There are a lot of scientists in India, a lot of tech people in India, right? So it adds to the economy as well as providing a lot of jobs and things like that. Um, And last but not least, guys, we'll look at just these last two paragraphs. Decades of space research have allowed India to develop satellite communications and remote sensing technologies that are helping to solve everyday problems at home, from forecasting where fish can be caught by fishermen to predicting storms and floods. Right? These missions are important. These are things that give Indians happiness and bragging rights, said Raghu Kalra of the Amateur Astronomers Association in Delhi. Even a poor person, when he learns that my country is sending a mission to another planet, he will feel a sense of pride for his country and he will want to make it a better place. Wow, that's pretty good. This guy, I mean, he made a pretty nice comment, right? What do we think about these two paragraphs, guys? What's the idea?
I think it is important for a company to involve in these space resources. At the beginning, they might look like big expenses, but in the end, you might end up discovering big things, and uh, it might, according to findings, it might help your economy a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So
I think
yeah, go ahead, Sarah. I'm sorry.
basically this shouldn't be a problem. Each country should be. I would like my country to be more active in this science researches, not only consuming the researches, because a lot of companies are setting aside a lot of money for R&D, but it is not wasting money. And at the end, they develop things, and they sell this technology to other people, and it's a lot of exploitation of the technology and helping the economy.
Absolutely, yeah. We need somebody. Turkey needs to send its own mission now to the moon and then to Mars, right? Why not, right? I mean, yeah, it's the idea of national pride about the initial investment may look like it's a very large investment, but the long-term effect of something like this is actually very much higher, right? The return is much higher because you can get that national pride, you can get that sense of bragging rights. So Ken, when we say bragging rights, right, we mean that when we say brag, like the verb brag in English means that you are being arrogant, right? So somebody brags, oh, I have a beautiful car, and your car is dirty and old, right? Or, I'm so handsome and you're so ugly, right? When people brag, they're being arrogant about themselves, right? So when we say bragging rights, it's a little bit of a it's a little bit of a euphemism, right? When we say in English a euphemism is when we change something to make it sound nicer. Bragging rights means that India can now brag to other countries. It has the right to brag to Pakistan, for example, right? Its biggest enemy. Like, look, you guys are idiots. You guys have drones and you guys have war and terrorism. We are sending stuff to Mars, right? You guys. Yeah, so showy, exactly, showy. So that's showy. So they can brag to. I mean, only three other organizations have done this, right? Even China has not sent anything to Mars, right? And India's biggest thing is China now. So Pakistan is always there. China is also there, right? So give them bragging rights. Look, we did it before you did. We are more advanced than you are. Stuff like that. It's important for a country. Bragging rights are very, very important for a country, right? So any questions, guys, about the article? Looking at it, reviewing it. Any ideas you guys have, or I mean, what did you guys think about this? The first question I had actually was, do you think India is ready to become the next superpower in space? The next big country when it comes to space exploration. And in general, I mean, do you agree with the people in the article that this is a good thing, or do you think India is a poor country, they should work on feeding their people, right? I mean, Sarvat, what is your reaction, just kind of overall to the article? What would you say?
Well, like I said, I think those RG researches can be implemented to real-world situations as well. And if you discover new things and make new technology that to use in your spaceship, those technology can be sold in to the normal customers as well. I mean, and this way you can feed your people in an indirect way by giving them jobs, by creating technology and using technology in different ways and making them jobs. I think it is crucial. Otherwise, we won't go ahead. I mean, discovery is the humans. How we have become at this point, how we have reached at this point without discovery, we will still be, I mean, hunting animals and feeding our stomach this way.
Yeah, there will be no advancement, right?
Yes.
So the advancement is something that we really need, absolutely. Ken, what do you think about this idea? Japan has a very good space program. Are you guys scared? We're catching up, guys. India's catching up. I'm just joking. What's your reaction?
Yeah, kind of. if I suffer the poverty and hunger, maybe I think solve the problem first. So
Really?
I feel some contradiction of the society and Indian society. I feel that, and a space, kind of exploration thing related to the technology development and the military development as well. These kind of things are correlated. So maybe somewhat India might urge people to be more kind of nationalism, urge people's nationalism, or to fight against kind of possible enemies or something like that.
Yeah.
That's another aspect from this, this article.
Yeah, you bring up a really good point. You bring up a really good point, Ken. Next year, the person who will probably become India's prime minister, if you guys care, his name is. There was another class I did a few days ago where I talked about this guy, Narendra Modi. Okay, this guy. If you see his name in the future, he will probably be mentioned as India's leader, because this guy is extremely charismatic. He's kind of like Erdogan, Tajuddin and Servet. Before Erdogan became kind of unpopular. At the beginning, when he came, he was very, economic policies were different, and Turkey was in a booming state, right? Modi is very similar. He comes from a very humble background, right? And he is an extremely charismatic person. So this guy, who will probably become India's next prime minister, is very nationalist already, right? He's already very nationalist. India has nuclear weapons. Right, China's right there. Pakistan is right there. Pakistan has nuclear weapons. Right, both of these countries have nuclear weapons. China and Pakistan. So there are fears that maybe could be a space race. Who wants to know? I mean, Pakistan is not at the position, I think, to launch spacecraft, but China can definitely do it. China can do it tomorrow probably. Right, they are just waiting for whatever. So. India is, I think, the next government in India will be very nationalist. So we should see. People are a little bit worried. People inside India are actually worried that it might be too radical of a government for India's well-being. And Tajuddin, what do you think about all of this? The investment in space exploration, good, bad? What's your reaction?
I think it's an important step for India. This project is an important step for India, but I don't know what will happen in the future. Is the India the first country or leading country in terms of space exploration? But if it keeps this improvement rate, it is probably one of the leading countries in the first. I think it is important. It's very important to invest in space, but we need a balance. We have a lot of problems in the world, and there are many poor people in India, and they solve these problems maybe.
Maybe first, yeah, before they do the space stuff, right? I was actually surprised, guys. This space project is $72 million. That's pretty cheap, actually. I mean, not to sound like I'm being showy, right? But when the U.S. sends stuff into space, it's a lot more. I mean, it's in the hundreds of millions of dollars, right? So I think India didn't actually go as crazy. They didn't pursue a plan that was as crazy as
how much dollars?
They said 72 million for this satellite. Yeah, for this satellite, 72 million, which isn't that bad, guys. Honestly, 72 million is doable. Because when India buys like military hardware from like China or America, one jet is like 20 million. So it's 3-4 fighter jets. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm thinking of it in terms of the bigger picture. 72 million is not that high, honestly.
Yes,
Right?
that's right.
So it seems like when they did the feasibility study, they understood, okay, we can't spend a lot of money because we have a lot of people in this country who, you need to be realistic, right? 72 million is good. If they can actually make this a success, it'll be a bargain. 72 million over a year, right? Over 300 days of travel from Earth to Mars, right? So I think we should wait and see what happens about this space exploration piece. Any questions, guys, about the article? I wanted to tie in any loose ends. We say this a lot in English, tie up any loose ends, right? Loose ends are when people have questions and we're not sure, right? So it's a phrase in English, tie up any loose ends. Tie everything together. Any questions, guys?
1, 2, 3.
Thank you, Sarah. Counting for me, I appreciate that. Yeah, absolutely, guys. Did you guys enjoy the class? Was it a good article?
Thanks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Logical.
Okay.
Yes,
Awesome.
yes.
Awesome, guys. Thank you so much. I have
Yes,
another
thank
class
you.
starting in
Bye.
1 hour. Tajuddin, have a safe drive home. I'll
Thanks.
see you later. Yeah, I'll see you later. And Ken and Sarah, if you guys want to join, I have another class in 1 hour. So
Okay. Bye.
awesome.
Thank you very much.
Awesome, guys. Yeah. Have a good day, guys.
Bye.
Have a
Take
good
care.
day. Bye.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye bye. Sure. You should maybe ask a doctor. I have no idea. Warming or your mouth watering might be something with the saliva duct or something. I have no idea. I'm just guessing. But cool. So, how are the rest of you guys? Tajuddin, how are you doing?
It's going well. Today, it's Monday and it's I'm at work. I worked. I did something. I prepared a lecture for tomorrow class, and it's nearly ending of the work hours. After 1 hour, I finished work and I go home.
Are you a teacher, Tajuddin? Or are you a professor?
Yes, I'm a teacher in a university. I'm associate professor of public health.
Nice, very cool. I'm thinking of studying public health.
Public health, very good.
Yeah.
I liked this idea.
Yeah. I'm not sure what I want to do yet, but because I'm traveling right now, I'm looking into different universities in different places. And yesterday, one of my friends told me, why don't you look into public administration or, public health, public policy. So yeah, that'll be interesting. I can ask you
can
for
communicate maybe after the class.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to. Just ideas. Maybe even in Turkey. Maybe I can come to
Why
a
not?
university in Turkey. Yeah, absolutely. Great. And Ken, how are you doing? Ken and Soso, you guys doing well?
Yes, I'm fine. Thank you.
Me too, I'm good.
Awesome. Yeah. So it's been a few days, I think, since we had a lot of people in this 6 a.m. class. It's 6 a.m. here, so I'm not calling it 6 a.m. But welcome, guys. I know it's might be not the best time for some of you. Today, guys, we have everyone here, so we have a lot of people here. Oh, 5 p.m. in Jeddah. Okay, sweet. So complete 11-hour difference then. Today, guys, we are going to be looking into the imperative form. Now, I've spoken to all of you guys before. I know all of you, and this is a high intermediate class. I think you guys are all beyond that level. So high intermediate focuses, because of the new structuring on Colingo, high intermediate focuses more on the article and less on the grammar. And I think here in this instance we can spend a lot more time on the article because I think imperative, basically there's no grammatical construction. It's just the base form of the verb, right, that we always see. So We're also going to be talking about travel, right? This time I decided to choose an article that's not related to, you know, just to leave it the way it is. I need to shower after. But yeah, so how's everything going, guys?
Fine. I don't know what it is. My mouth is watering a lot. I don't know for some reason.
Uh-huh.
It is a bit making me go crazy.
Really?
You speak, you're kind of mad. I mean, I don't know. For a few days I had this problem. I need to go to doctor maybe.
Yeah, that might be a good thing to
Like,
ask.
there is nothing in my mouth. I brush my mouth. It's clean. There's no food, etc. But for some reason, like not every day, in the mornings to up until to evening,
Mm-hmm.
for a few days,
ダ
I
メ
have this.
もうこれで
It it goes away at night, in the evenings, or in the mornings. This time it starts. Crazy.
Yeah, guys, I'm not sure, why that is. But yeah, not related to terrestrial travel, right? What does this word terrestrial mean, guys? I'm going to use some. You guys are very advanced. What does terrestrial mean?
Related to Earth.
Yeah, absolutely, Tajuddin. Fantastic, right? I'm not going to be talking about terrestrial travel in this article. I'm going to be talking about extraterrestrial travel, right? And what does extraterrestrial mean? If terrestrial means Earth, then what is extraterrestrial?
ET alien
Yeah, exactly. The ET, right? Aliens, right? Outside of the world, or outside of this world, right? Outside of the Earth,
Maybe
outside of Earth.
universe. It's related to universe.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to be looking specifically at Mars, actually. So Mars is the next planet from the Sun, from us, the closest planet to us. And out of all countries, India has decided to send a our satellite to Mars, right? Because they want to explore the surface of that planet, and they want to maybe send